The night was already perfect, or so I thought. The restaurant glowed with soft amber light, casting a warm haze over the white linen tablecloths and flickering candles. I sat across from Ethan, sipping my glass of Chardonnay, my heart still fluttering from the way he smiled when I walked in. He looked unfairly handsome in that navy blue button-up shirt I loved, the one that brought out the color in his hazel eyes. I couldn't stop watching him as he talked about work, his sister's engagement, the funny thing his dog did this morning. It was the kind of effortless conversation that made me feel like everything in my life had aligned just to bring me to this table with this man, in this moment. Ethan reached across the table, his fingers brushing mine. "You look amazing tonight, Claire," he said, the edge of his mouth twitching into that lopsided grin I'd fallen for 3 months ago. "Like unfairly amazing. You're making it hard to focus on my ravioli." I laughed. "Then stop ordering ravioli and pay attention to me. I've been doing nothing else since I met you." His words sent a warm current down my spine. There was something about him that never felt rehearsed. Ethan was honest, open, sometimes frustratingly so, and yet he made me feel more seen in 3 months than I had in my last relationship. The waiter brought out dessert, a slice of tiramisu with a sparkler stuck in the top, and I raised an eyebrow. "Did you tell them it's my birthday?" He looked suspiciously innocent. "Isn't it?" "No." "Then consider this not your birthday dessert." The sparkler fizzled out just as he leaned closer, a mischievous glint in his eye. "Actually, I have something planned, but we have to leave now." I blinked. "You planned something else?" "Ethan, dinner was more than enough. Trust me." He stood and held out his hand. "You're gonna want to see this." I followed him out of the restaurant, the night air cool against my bare arms. I had no idea what to expect. He didn't say anything as we walked, just laced his fingers through mine and led me down the street toward the river. I was about to ask where we were going when I saw it. Parked along the curb was a vintage black convertible, top down, headlights glowing softly in the night. The driver's side door had a red bow tied to the mirror. I stared at it in disbelief. "You didn't," I whispered. "I did." Ethan grinned, reaching into his pocket and tossing me a set of keys. "She's yours." "Well, ours. But mostly yours." My mouth dropped open. "You got me a car?" "Not just any car. This is a 1966 Mustang. You told me your dad used to have one, right? Said you always wanted to drive one again." I could barely speak. He remembered that story. I told him weeks ago, in passing, about how my father used to take me for drives when I was little, how I'd sit on the edge of the leather seat and pretend I was flying. That car was gone now, sold after my dad passed, but the memory lingered like perfume in the air. I hadn't expected him to remember, let alone do this. Tears welled in my eyes. "Ethan, this is too much." He stepped closer and wrapped his arms around me. "Nothing is too much if it makes you smile like that." I leaned against his chest, feeling the thump of his heart beneath his shirt. I didn't know what to say. I just held on, hoping he could feel everything I couldn't put into words. "Come on," he said after a moment. "Take her for a spin. I've got the whole night planned." We drove with the top down, wind in our hair, the city lights streaking by in a blur of gold and silver. He played our song, soft rock from the 80s, the kind we always danced to in his kitchen on Sunday mornings. I laughed. I cried. I sang at the top of my lungs as we crossed the bridge and took the back roads out of town. Eventually, he turned off into a gravel road I didn't recognize. Trees lined the path, and fairy lights hung from the branches like stars. My breath caught in my throat as we pulled up to a clearing. A picnic blanket had been laid out under an old oak tree, complete with lanterns, wine, and the kind of dessert spread that could rival any bakery. "I know you love stargazing," he said, turning to me, "and I figured this would be a good spot." I could only nod. It was perfect, quiet, secluded, intimate. He helped me out of the car, and we walked hand in hand to the blanket. I sat down, still stunned. He uncorked the wine and poured 2 glasses, then handed me mine. "I wanted to do something special for you," he said softly, "because you've become, well, everything." I swallowed hard. "Ethan, I know it's early. I know it's only been a few months. But I also know what I feel when I'm with you. And I don't want to wait around pretending like I don't. He reached into his jacket pocket again, and for one wild second, I thought he was going to pull out a ring. My heart nearly stopped. But instead, he held out a small, velvet pouch. I opened it carefully and gasped. Inside was a delicate gold necklace with a tiny pendant shaped like a compass. "So, you always find your way," he said. "Even if we're apart." My hands shook as I fastened it around my neck. "You're seriously setting the bar too high." "Good. I want to make it impossible for anyone else." We spent the rest of the night lying on the blanket, watching the stars in silence. At some point, he took my hand and held it over his heart. Whatever this is between us, I want it to last," he said. "I want to build something real. With you." I didn't say anything right away. I just moved closer and kissed him, slow and certain, because words didn't feel like enough. That night, under the stars, I realized he hadn't just planned a surprise. He'd planned a beginning.